What's going on, guys? It's your boy Distant Coder, and I have COVID. If you've noticed that I've not been streaming lately and the lack of ban list reaction up on my channel, the reason why is because when the ban list dropped, I was in bed recovering. I've been trying to put as much content as I can. I think I've done a good job of it, but I wasn't able to react to the ban list. However, I did want to bring you guys a little bit of a ban list discussion, talk about basically what happened on the list, and let you guys know what I think and what this ban list means for the upcoming format, because there are a lot of big events on the way. So to start things off, there are 3 cards that have been banned. Auroradon, it had to be Hulk or Auroradon, but I thought Auroradon was the correct hit, just because I feel like Hulk has some neat applications and some cool uses that you can do with the card, as opposed to Auroradon that pretty much only promotes this one combo line, and that one combo line is extremely powerful for what you're able to make off of 1, maybe 2 cards. Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew is obviously the Prank Kids starter card that they needed for their deck to be a 1-card engine, and the reason why this got banned is specifically to stop those Prank Kids plus DPE plus Adventure plus every other engine in the game. Basically, the thing with Prank Kids is that you were able to just draw 4 cards that weren't Prank Kids and a Prank Kid and do your full Prank Kid combo, and then have all those other engines available to do some crazy things. Predaplant Verte Anaconda is banned! See ya, loser! Verte not being in the game means that you're no longer gonna have to deal with your opponent linking his last 2 monsters off after you've interrupted them 4 times, making a Verte into a DPE and just blowing you out in a simplified game state. Verte Anaconda being banned also means that Branded is no longer a splashable engine, and that if people choose to play Fusion Destiny with its 2 bricks, they have to hard draw the Fusion Destiny in order to make DPE, otherwise DPE is not hitting the board. This also means that Tri-Brigade variants and other sorts of decks won't be able to play the Branded engine because it's no longer that splashable, or DPE because they'd have to hard draw the Fusion Destiny. Next off for the limited section, Change of Heart to 1, I think is not going to be that problematic. We did see Mind Control at 3, and at the time was very played. Change of Heart is effectively an additional copy of Mind Control, but the monster is able to attack. It is better Mind Control. Is it that crazy? I don't think so. Personally, the monkey board limit is not that bad in my opinion. I think it's pretty warranted. Pendulums need a little bit of a boost, and I think this is a very fair way of giving them a pretty strong boost that they won't see very consistently. Other than that, the other hits are pretty straightforward, except for Halqifibrax and Shooting Riser Dragon. I think this is a very interesting limit. You only ever played 1 Hulk. Most decks that played 2 were just doing unfair stuff. So I suppose you remove the unfair aspect of Hulk and you just leave basically what Konami has been considering fair up to this point with Halqifibrax. And Shooting Riser Dragon to 1, I think is very strange. I think the reason why it was put to 1 was because there was this one singular combo that I had seen. I don't even remember what it ends on, but I remember it was some crazy like combo that I believe makes King Calamity that used 2 Shooting Riser in its combo, and I guess that combo is dead now. Whoop-de-doo. Jet Synchron, Red Rose Dragon. I think both of these limits are interesting because they're removing some stuff for some synchro strategies, but also giving them jet back. Do I think it will shake up the meta? I really don't think so. The last 2 cards that got limited were Yatagarasu and Time Seal. I feel like Time Seal is flying a little bit under the radar. Primarily, the reason why it's coming back, in my opinion, is because of Labyrinth. Labyrinth are able to access normal trap cards from the deck. Giving Labyrinth access to a singular Time Seal could see some amount of interesting play. And for Yatagarasu, I really don't think this card's going to do anything, but shoutouts to the oldest banned card in the game finally getting unbanned. And next up, for the semi-limited section, or as I like to call it, the Destiny Hero Malicious Zone, first off, we have Dynamite Knight, the true Draco fighter, going to 2. Draco's not really seeing a whole lot of play. I think every Draco card could be a 3, with the exception of Masterpiece, and the deck is probably perfectly fine. If anything, you need to ban some Floodgates to hit that deck, and I think the goal here is for Draco to be remotely playable. The next one is a little scary to me, though. Cyber Angel Ben 10 was put to 2. I think Ben 10 going to 2 is a little scary. With Ava banned, I think the whole Herald, Fairy, Drytron build isn't as powerful, but I do think that double Ben 10 does mean that Drytron has a very, very powerful resource loop that they're able to access, which is going to make the Megalith version of that deck a lot more consistent and more powerful than it was prior to this ban list. Do I think it's going to make Drytron a tier 0 contender? Not really. But do I think it's good? Yes. I think it's very strong for Drytron, and we're just going to have to wait and see if it does anything. I think it's going to see some amount of impact, but I don't think it's going to be the be-all, end-all, and everyone's going to be on Drytron moving forward. Next up, we have Fire Formation Tenki to 2. This is a pretty nice consistency boost for Tri-Brigade. I really don't think they needed it. I don't think Zodiac needed it either. This might be just because the Scareclaw cards are coming out, and Scareclaw plays quite well with Tri-Brigade, and I think they're trying to make Tri-Brigade with Scareclaw see a little bit more play. I think they're trying to entice more players to play the deck. Another card that went back to 2 is Pot of Desires. This one is very interesting. Pot of Desires was one of those cards that players kept ping-ponging back from playing 3 or 2 or 3 or 2 or none. In this situation, when Desires went to 1, a lot of people just opted to not play the card anymore, because if it's only 1, you don't really see it that much. You can't really rely on it. Whereas at 2, you can rely on it semi-consistently, and you will definitely see it in a majority of your games if you play 2 Copy of Desires. I really don't think this card should be at anything other than 3. I don't think this card warrants being hit in any way, but if it's going to be hit, putting it to 2, I guess, is whatever. Next to last semi-limit is Trickstar Light Stage, an interesting one. This card has been put to 1 ever since it was full Orcus combo. And for some reason, they put it back to 2, and I think the primary reason why is because we no longer have the 2 monsters equals mermaid equals full Orcus combo, and we also no longer have the 2 monsters put together equals verte anaconda. Trickstar Light Stage going to 2 is a welcome change. I'm not really beat up about it. I think it is okay. I don't think it's crazy, and I don't think it's bad by any means either. And last but not least, for semi-limits, Wall of Revealing Light. I didn't even know this card was on the list. I'm going to be completely honest. I had no idea this card was hit in any way. If anyone knew, congratulations. For those of you that had no idea, welcome to the club. I guess, cool. Maybe it could go to 3. I don't know. And as per usual, some cards have been removed from the list entirely. First off, Night Assailant has been put to 3. Now, the reason why Night Assailant was on the list in the first place is because you can have effectively an infinite loop of resources by constantly discarding multiple Night Assailants and adding them back with each other. I don't think we're really going to be seeing that in our year of 2020. I'm willing to eat my words on this one, but I'm very convinced that this is not really going to change anything in our current metagame. Next up, we have Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. I don't really know how I feel about this one. I think this is not a good unlimit, and here's the reason why. I think that when you use 1 Trish in your deck or summon just 1 Trish, it's a cool card. It's a powerful card, loops a card out of the hand. It can also clear some things from the field and stuff like that. I think that when you get to the point where you're summoning multiple copies of Trish in a single turn or in a single game, you're starting to do some shenanigans with hand looping and unfair bullshit. Next up, they unbanned 2 Salamandra cards, Stalio at 3 and Circle at 3. Personally, Stalio could have been at 1, 2, or 3. You only ever play 1 anyway, so I guess putting it to 3 is fine. Salamandra Circle going to 3 effectively means you have 2 additional copies of your Salamandra Gazelle. Does that mean a whole lot for Salamandra? Not really, because Salamandra's power play going first, as of late, has been Verte Anaconda to go into DPE. You can no longer do that with Salamandra, so you're going to have to play a standard basic cookie cutter Salamandra strategy. So I really don't think Circle going to 3 is going to change a whole lot, but for the few Salamandra players that remain, I think it's very cool for them. Next up to be unlimited is A Hero Lives. This card went to 1 when I believe we got Stratos back to multiple copies or something like that. For the most part, Hero Lives is going to be ash bait for hero players. I spoke to my good friend Ruggles, and he was very happy that the card's back. He told me that it's most likely going to be ash bait, but having that additional consistency card is very cool for heroes. So congratulations, hero players, you got 1 more consistency card. And last but not least, a card that I didn't think we'd see unlimited this list, but hey, very cool unlimit. Scapegoat is back. Joey's token card from the anime is now back at 3. Back in the early Link era, you would resolve Scapegoat in your opponent's end phase, and then you'd be able to link up into a Borlo dragon on your own turn. For the most part, the game is accelerated to a much faster point that setting a card and having to wait to use it in your opponent's end phase isn't going to be extremely relevant. So I think Scapegoat going to 3 is perfectly fine. I believe it was at 1 or maybe even at 2 prior to this ban list. So in this case, Scapegoat to 3, I think it's pretty cool. So next up, I do want to talk about the things that the ban list missed. I think Branded might have needed a little bit of a slap on the wrist. It is uncontestably the best deck of the format. I know it's a bit of a more recent deck, but I would like to have seen it hit to some capacity, maybe a little bit of a consistency hit or something like that, just so that the deck doesn't run rampant and is obviously the strongest deck that we currently have in the format. So that deck is still going to be stomping on pretty much everyone else. in my opinion. Artifact Scythe completely dodged a ban list this time around, and I think that's a little bit of a mistake. I think that some decks are still fully capable of utilizing Artifact Scythe with Dagda, such as Pendulum going into Hulk with Dagda, and then tagging out the Hulk into a Wonder Magician, popping their Scythe and on res, synchro summoning their Wonder Magician with their Scythe in order to make a Barone. I think that is still a very powerful and potent play, and considering that most decks that were playing the Brave package that didn't really care about Scythe all that much, they're going to be falling out of favor a little bit, and we're going to be seeing a lot of decks that do care about Scythe, so Scythe has effectively seen a little bit of a power boost with this ban list, and I think that's a little bit unfortunate. I would like to see Scythe gone, but unfortunately, it is here to stay for another couple of months, unfortunately. Other than that, I feel like I cry about this every single time I talk about a ban list, but Mystic Mine is still in the game. I know it hasn't been doing much, but I just think this card is overall an unhealthy card for the game and should not remain. Unfortunately, Konami seemed very keen on keeping Mystic Mine around. I would like to see it banned, but unfortunately, we're gonna have to deal with it for another couple of months. So anyways, guys, that's it for my basically reaction to this ban list. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys are happy with this ban list and you're excited to play some more Yu-Gi-Oh! This format. I think that it's going to be a really cool format. I think it's shaken up quite a bit by this ban list. I'm very, very excited to get into the YCS season. I'm going to be going to YCS Hartford, and I can't wait to see all of you guys there. So let me know in the comment section of this video what you thought of this ban list. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!